Welcome to LeaseTalk Africa, where we simplify equipment leasing, asset finance, and growth opportunities across Africa. I am your host, Dr. Rosalind Mora, and today we are going back to the basics. Today we are looking at why mature markets embrace leasing and what Africa is missing. So we are asking a very important question. Why have mature markets embraced leasing so strongly? And what are they doing that Africa is not yet doing at scale? Because leasing is not just a finance product. Leasing is a tool for productivity, business growth, job creation, and economic transformation. Let us look at what leasing really is. And let's start simply. Equipment leasing allows a business to use an asset without paying the full purchase price upfront. That asset could be a tractor, a truck, medical equipment, construction equipment, IT equipment, manufacturing machinery, and or even renewable energy equipment. So leasing says, instead of saying, I need to own this machine before I can grow, leasing says, I need access to this machine so I can generate income, serve my customers, and grow responsibly. That is the mindset shift. In many African markets, we still connect success with ownership. We ask, do I own the asset? But mature leasing markets ask a different question. Is the asset productive? Does it generate cash flow? Does it help the business grow? And this is, guys, where leasing matters. It moves the conversation from ownership to productive use. Why mature markets use leasing? Why do they? In mature markets, leasing is normal. It's not seen as a second best option. It is seen as a smart business tool. In the United States, for example, the equipment finance industry is valued at more than $1 trillion, and more than 8 out of 10 companies use some form of financing when acquiring equipment. This is from the Alpha Equipment Leasing Finance Association. In Europe, leasing is also deeply embedded in business growth. Lease Europe reported new leasing volume of about £448 billion in 2023. With strong growth in green assets like electric vehicles, bicycles, and renewable energy equipment. So why do these markets embrace leasing? They understand 5 things, and this is what we are going to unpack in our podcast today. First, leasing preserves cash. A business does not have to tie up all its capital in one asset. Second, leasing matches payment with income. The asset helps generate revenue and the business pays over time. Third, leasing supports technology renewal. Business can upgrade equipment instead of being stuck with outdated assets. If, for example, you're using laptops which were purchased 3 or 4 years ago, they could be outdated today. Fourth, leasing improves risk management. Structures, documentation, asset tracking, and repossession systems are more mature. 5, leasing supports national productivity. More businesses can access equipment, which means more production, more services, more jobs, and more tax revenue. This is the power of leasing when the ecosystem works the way it should. So what is this that Africa is not yet doing at scale? Let's talk honestly about our motherland. Africa has the need. Africa has entrepreneurs. Africa has SMEs, farms, logistics companies, clinics, manufacturers, contractors, and young people who want to build. But in many markets, access to equipment is still difficult. The issue is not lack of ambition. It is lack of structure. And there are 5 major gaps which I want us to look at today. 1, low awareness. Many SMEs do not fully understand leasing. They think finance means only a bank loan. They do not know that equipment can be financed based on use, productivity, and structured cash flow. Second, weak asset information. In mature markets, lenders often have better data on asset values, resale markets, maintenance history, and depreciation. In many African markets, this data is still fragmented, so there is an opportunity here for anyone looking to get into this ecosystem. Third, limited vendor partnerships. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's anything I would like you to take out of this podcast, is this information about limited vendor partnerships. Mature markets use strong relationships between financiers, equipment suppliers, dealers, insurance, and service providers. In Africa, these partnerships do exist, but they are not yet deep enough or systematic enough. There needs to be coherence. There needs to be a golden thread that runs through from the financier to the equipment supplier, the dealer, the insurer, the service providers, all the way down, cascaded to the customer. Fourth, the fourth gap is legal and recovery uncertainty. Leasing works best when ownership rights, registration, enforcement, and repossession processes are clear and efficient. We will be looking at documentation at great length in our next podcast. Fifth gap, skills gap. And this is why LeaseTalk Africa has been established, courtesy of Velocity Global Leasing training. Leasing requires people who understand structuring, residual values, credit, tax accounting, documentation, and asset monitoring. We cannot grow leasing without growing leasing professionals. And this is one of the reasons LeaseTalk Africa exists today. Why? To simplify the knowledge, to build confidence, to raise standards, and to help Africa move from potential to execution. So what mature markets are doing differently, let's go deeper. Mature markets are not successful in leasing by accident. They have built systems around the product. Here are the top 6 things they do well. Number 1, they treat leasing as a strategic growth tool, not just a credit product. Let me repeat that, guys. They treat leasing as a strategic growth tool, meaning their mindset is totally different. It is used by manufacturers, technology companies, hospitals, logistics firms, and governments to accelerate productivity. It is not just a means of acquisition. It is a means of growth. They build vendor finance ecosystems. That's number 2. When a customer walks into an equipment dealership, financing is already part of the conversation. The dealer does not just sell equipment, they help the customer access the equipment. Number 3, they price risk with data. They understand asset life, secondary markets, usage patterns, maintenance costs, and customer behavior. That's a big gap in our continent. Number 4, they educate the market continuously. And LeaseTalk Africa would welcome any partnership that helps push our motherland to the next level. Associations, lenders, equipment sellers, and consultants keep teaching businesses how leasing works. Number 5, they standardize documentation and processes. This reduces confusion, lowers transaction costs, and makes deals move faster. So this means that the documentation process, if you go to the banks, if you go to the vendors, if you go to the leasing houses, it is standardized. Number 6, they innovate with new asset classes. They do not lease only traditional equipment. They finance software, technology, green energy, vehicles, medical equipment, agricultural machinery, and infrastructure-related assets. Now, that is why, guys, mature markets grow faster. They do not leave leasing to chance. It is intentional. They build an ecosystem. What Africa can do now? So what can we do differently? Here's the practical roadmap that I'm offering you. First, We need to simplify leasing education. Velocity Global Leasing has done this, and I invite you to check our website at www.velocitygloballeasing.com. SMEs need simple explanations. Bankers need practical training. Dealers need to understand how leasing increases sales. Policymakers need to see leasing as an economic development tool. Second, build stronger partnerships between financiers and equipment suppliers. If banks, leasing companies, and vendors work together, customers can move from interest to approval much faster. Third, create better asset data. We need more reliable information on pricing, resale values, maintenance costs, depreciation, and demand for used equipment. This is something that we can do and make it available to the ecosystem. Train leasing professionals. This is critical. A leasing market cannot grow beyond the quality of its people. That's why, again, I'm inviting you to check out our website and see the number of courses, the number of modules that are available for different categories, and see how this training can assist you run your business or improve your profession. Number 5, support enabling regulation. Clear legal frameworks, asset registration, tax clarity, and predictable enforcement all make leasing safer and more attractive. Sixth, shift the mindset from ownership to access. This may be the biggest one, because many businesses are not failing because they lack ideas. They are failing because they cannot access the tools they need to produce. Leasing can change that. To our leasing associations across the continent, this is a challenge I'm throwing out to you. So where is the African opportunity? This is exactly what excites me. Africa does not need to copy mature markets blindly. No, Africa can build a leasing model that fits our realities, a model that supports SMEs, a model that supports farmers, a model that helps clinics access medical equipment, a model that helps transporters modernize fleets, a model that helps young businesses grow without crushing them with upfront costs. This is not just finance to my bank's friends. This is access. This is dignity. This is productivity. This is economic empowerment. When leasing is done well, it helps people move from waiting to building. And that, guys, is the opportunity before us. Now, if this episode helped you understand leasing more clearly, follow LeaseTalk Africa on Spotify and share it with one banker, one SME owner, or one equipment dealer who needs to hear this. Together, we can spread the word. And if you want to go deeper, I will be hosting a practical masterclass on profitable equipment leasing, where we will cover margin, risk compliance, deal flow, and the tools professionals need to structure better deals. I will be sharing a link in the next episode. Until then, remember this. Leasing is not just about financing equipment. It is about unlocking productivity, opportunity, and growth across Africa. This is LeaseTalk. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.